I'm Snooky, and today I am joined by Smoke
Hello, hello.
and Cherry,
Hello, hello.
and together we are Hydragames69. Alright, let's continue reading Hello Neighbor Missing Pieces, Chapter 4. The factory should be fenced off. Maybe it was at some point, but it sure isn't now, and we shouldn't be able to walk through the front door. But we do. I used to love golden apples, Aaron says, and his eyes get all green. I wait for our next week, but all I get is a look of shock. You've never had a golden apple? I'm going to need you to stop saying golden apples, I say. It sounds like something my grandma would make me eat. I shake a crooked finger at him and try on my best old granny voice. Eat your golden apple so you grow up big and strong, dearie. These wouldn't make anyone big or strong. They were candy, Aaron says. I don't know what they put in those things, but I wouldn't sleep for days after I ate one. Guess that explains why they stopped making them, I say, but Aaron doesn't respond. He just looks away. The golden apple factory doesn't look like much. I mean, it's an abandoned factory in the middle of the woods that mysteriously only we seem to know about. So that's pretty cool. But besides the still optional training belt and overall creepy atmosphere that comes from any abandoned place, I can't figure out why Aaron was so stoked to show me the factory. It's virtually empty and I'm starving. Plus my parents would have been so happy that I've made a friend. They probably would have fallen all over themselves to see us. Dad would have bust out the Susie Q's for sure. Maybe Aaron just wanted to get away from his house. I know I did. Away from his dad, anyway. Come on, Aaron says, waving me up a ramp and toward the back door with an unlit exit sign over it. It's not an exit sign, though. Instead, the door leads to a hallway filled with more doors to the left and the right, each with at least two locks bolted them shut. A lockpicker's dream. Whoa, I breathe, and Aaron nods. Each one leads to another door, too, he says, all locked. I stared at the corridor like we've uncovered a secret stash of golden apples. I've only made it through half of them. They've all got different brands of latches and padlocks. Here, I'll show you one of my favorite rooms. Oh, excuse me. Aaron beckons me to the middle of the corridor and fishes his tools from his pocket. Like me, he always carries his cape. I hardly know what my pocket feels like anymore without it. With his signature smoothness, he swings the first lock easily. A simple lever handle lock with a clutch. The door opens to a musty smelling office, its furniture still haunting the room, waiting for its occupant to return. It's windowless and the light switch doesn't work. None of them work, Aaron says. I think the conveyor belt runs on an old generator or something. In answer to our need, Aaron scooped up a heavy old flashlight from the top of a nearby filing cabinet. Found this baby on the first day, he says, illuminating his face from under his chin like he's about to tell me a ghost story. Then he twists his eyebrows up and down. Follow me. I hear scurrying against the walls, and I know it's rats. I mean, it was a candy factory. I just pray to the giant aliens they keep through the walls and beds. What, Aaron asked, his voice taunting. You have a thing about rats? I have a thing about rabies, I say. Hold this, Aaron says, handing me the flashlight. Then he fishes out a hook pick and leans his ears against the door. This is when I know Aaron is really at work. It's like he's listening to the door's heartbeat. I don't even bother asking why he locked the doors after he sprung them open. Because each time is like the first time, and there's no feeling like that. With the tiniest flick of his wrist, the pin clicks and the door opens again. Inside is a treasure trove of broken machinery. I had a feeling you'd want to see this, he says, and I hardly know what to say. There's this cartoon that I used to watch. Okay, that I maybe possibly still watch. With a ridiculous rich duck. He has so much money that he keeps all his gold and jewels and coins and bills piled in a room-sized vault, and he swims through the treasure like it's water. That's what I want to do when Aaron opens this door. A secret office behind the regular office is probably considered a junk room, a kind of elephant's graveyard, where electronics journey to eventually die as new hardware was invited to replace them. Maybe the tech guy at the Golden Apple Corporation figured he could make a buck selling those old monitors or keyboards or security cameras for parts. But the factory shut down and the already useless mechanic slept behind a locked door, guarded by an empty chair and another locked door. Dude, say something so I know you're not having a stroke or something. You smell like rat poo, I say, because it's the only way I can tell him no one ever trusts me with treasure. Yeah, you're gonna want to scrape your shoes before you get home, he says, and I think he understands that. Thank you would be embarrassing. I take what I can, carry the monitor from an old vacuum, a fan from a CPU, a keyboard, and about 5 extension cords. I'll bring a bag next time, I say to Aaron. But he's already walking ahead of me, out the hallway and back onto the factory floor. He locks the door behind him so no one else can get in easily and vandalize our sacred place. Before I know it, we're tromping over the wood path that leads into the trees and away from the train track. Then he pauses, and I turn to see what he is staring at. There, just over the tree line, is a red and gold seat, rocking and cracking on a middle breeze attached to the top of a large metal arch. Is that a Ferris wheel? I asked, already pushing past Aaron to cut a path through the overgrowth. I'm expecting to find a clearing full of other confectioneration, color rides, and trick booths, one of the millions of country fairs that pop up on main streets or in open parking lots. Oh, excuse me, during the summer months, but what I found instead is a ghost town. The Ferris wheel cars are paralyzed, moved only by the warm breeze that blows by. The wheel itself is covered in so much graffiti, I can't even tell what color it used to be. And not the cool kind of graffiti that's like by Daredevil street artists. The ugly kind of graffiti that means to erase whatever's underneath. I see the opening to a fun house that looks more horror than fun with its apple-shaped head and its wide mouth with barred teeth. I see a chair concession dance that's missing its roof and a collapsed stage, still encircled by tired cement seats. There's a carousel of vandalized animals prancing across a motorless grate. There's the top curve of a roller coaster track cresting above the tree line, and a lone car perched at the apex. There used to be more, lots more. A directory obscured and only oil burn residents tell me at least that much. But whatever this place was, it's dead and buried now. All right, Smoke, you're up next. All right. Across the concession stand, in faded white letters of a red king, reads Golden Apple Amusement Park. They made a park, do I ask? Inconsistently that Aaron didn't tell me this just as eagerly as the text. Sure, there were no walks or mechanics, there is plenty to mess with between the Ferris wheel and a roller coaster. I mean, cars have to be around somewhere. I better get the carousel going again, I say, striking my factory treasures against the tree and racing across the overgrown park. I emerged from the bush to find him looking at the ground. His hands crossed over his chest. He's acting like he's made me mad. What's the matter? Nothing, I just don't like it here, he says excessively. Are you joking? What's not to like? Seriously? Why is this place, like, completely hidden? It's not hidden, Aaron says, but he's almost spits out like he's disgusted with me. Okay, I say clearly, terrible ass dice and whatever landmine is buried under all this ash, like maybe it burned down. Did something? What happened here? I asked. Aaron looks up. His eyes look like they're ready to shoot lasers. And I'm close enough that I think he actually might throw a punch at me. But I still have no idea why. Then he seems to catch himself and his shoulders relax a little. I shouldn't have come this way. I forgot this was here. But I don't think that's true. I think maybe he wanted me to see it. So did it, like, burn down or something? I probed. Aaron just stares at me. I lived down the street from a house that burned down once, I say, starting to ramble. It was a space heater or something, and everyone got out okay. The house was completely torched, like this place looks. I keep waiting for Aaron to say something to save me from my battle, and he keeps staring. The sunshine is stark contrast from the factory only moments ago. Just when I think we're going to just get under all the optimism, Aaron shakes his head. Let's get out of here, he says, and even though I'm relieved to go, I know I've let Aaron down somehow. He doesn't say a word the rest of the way home. Just a casual see you later before he steps behind through his unlit porch and disappears into his house. I replayed that night in my head, the house with all its twists and turns. His dad's unique sense of humor, the factory, the amusement park. I tried to figure out when things turned real. Aaron was screaming after we left his house, but that seemed to wear off once he showed me the factory. It was only after we got to the front ruins of the amusement park that Aaron's entire demeanor changed. The guys who shared his trove of abandoned electronics had disappeared. With the angry, scared kid he left in his place, leaving me to know nothing. What were you trying to tell me, you weirdo? I asked Aaron's dark voice because I know what it's like to want someone to guess how you're feeling. It's way easier than saying it. I set my electronic all beside the door inside I'll leave it there until morning. Maybe by then I'll have bustling explanations for where they came from. I barely have time to close the front door before Mom and Dad pounce on me. Did you have fun? What's he like? Are you in the same grade? Have you had dinner yet? He's okay. Same grade. I say, then I said, not hungry. Mom's cupped my forehead. You coming down with something? I just don't feel like eating, okay? Mom and Dad exchange look. He looks like our son, Dad says, but he reaches for my face, tilting my chin to see up my nose, pinching my cheek to open my mouth. I don't know, Lou. He could be a changeling. Hardy har har, I say, swatting Dad's hand away. Well, you have few choices, Mom says. You can stay here and eat like a normal 12-year-old boy, or you can run a boring errand with your boring mother. I had noticed before that she's wearing her rain jacket and shoes. I need a book from my office, she says. A book from her office at the university. Her office is near the campus library, right? Mom cocks her head to the side. It's a science laboratory, but it does have newspapers, like old records. Mom looks like she wants to ask another, but then loses interest. Probably, she says, grabbing her car keys. Ours is the orange and white linoleum of the science building on the end of campus. It's gold, and some of the original buildings are really pretty. All brick and dark brick pillars at the end of the ground. Still was built sometime in the 60s. And I'm pretty sure that was the last time anyone's touched it. That's one of the reasons the school is so excited about having my mom on the faculty. She's a scientist and not just a chemist. She's written a couple of papers on some experiments she did that got published in some high-quality journal. And now people know that Lamar Ross is super smart. And smart scientists mean more student enrollment, which means maybe this school will finally be able to buy new equipment and remodel the back. Or so Dad says. Which brings the library, I asked Mom. Downstairs to the left, but Nar, I'm only going to meet down there, I told over my shoulder. She turned down the stairs and around the dark hallway before she held out. The science laboratory is smaller than most elementary school libraries, which means you can find the predictable section. Most of the tables are piled with neatly stacked science journals, well worn with thick-covered dog earth here in nature. Those aren't going to help yourself. I'm scanning the periodicals shelf until finally in the very bottom corner, I spy a pile of biscuits that mask ahead on one. I recognize from the sign on the building for Jaguar, the Raven banner. I sit on the ground, that stacked onto my lap, skimming through the headlines as quickly as I can, breaking with the words golden and apple. I'm a third of the way through the stack when I can see cycling through the hole above. I recognize my mom's Christmas stripe, and I wish she's not in a hurry to move fast. Come on, I muttered, looking faster through the puddle, but nothing is jumping out at me. I stepped to the bottom of the stack, but in my hurry, I fumbled the paper constantly, tore and scattered. Are you putting a mess down there? I hear my mom's footsteps begin to descend the stairs, ready to admit her seat. I start stroking the stack back together when I spy a paper with full letters spelling out the headline. I grab the paper and try to skim what I can, but Mom is almost at the bottom of the stairs. Do I commit a mortal sin? Aliens, forgive me. During the newsprint, I pulled a page from the paper and shoved it into my pocket before my mom put her head around it. What were you trying to build a nest? Mom asked, the hand massaging the back of her head. I didn't hear anything. I am, without a doubt, the world's worst criminal. Mom knows it. She shakes her head at me, then helps me clean my mess before we leave the library, possibly the way we found it. I wait until I can hear my parents learn before pulling the article from my pocket. On this day exactly 1 year ago, life created the family changed forever, and the town of Ravenwood lost a piece of its heart. What should have been a day of family fun at the newly opened Golden Apple amusement park turned to an unimaginable tragedy when a mechanical stall in the park. Much buzz about trying for a roller coaster caused the death of a 7-year-old Lucy. I took a close-up picture of a smiling girl stares back at me. From the page, her eyes sparkling under a fridge of dark bank. I read the caption recently. Lucy was a first grader at Rivenwood Elementary School. She was a first grader. I think to myself, was because she's dead now. Is that this something Emma guessed? Not that I ever have guessed something that horrific had happened right there in the same park we were standing earlier tonight. I keep reading. It was just so shocking. I mean, an Indian park is supposed to be fair and free place. This Jenny fell a former Golden Apple assembly line worker at the faculty a mile from the park. Also, this no kid of mine is going to set foot on one of those contraptions ever again. This just goes to show you never really know what to say. Says Bill Markson as he sweeps the sidewalk in front of the coffin puff head of light. You know what I think? I think they rushed to open before they've done all those safety tests they should have done. All of Ravenwood blames the Golden Apple Corporation for the builders responsible for its construction. But Ingrid tries to hold on to the happy memories by the long shadow cast by the confection makers until it falls from popularity. I will never forget riding the periscope with my youngest son on opening day. I never seen him smile that big. People out ought to be ashamed of burning that place down like they did. I read Gladys Evans' note 3 more times to make sure I read it right. They burned it down. I read. And a week dominated by suffering for all family and recollection on the further tragedy that could have struck, and parents and townspeople gathered at the third Golden Apple and park to breathe together. But what was meant to be a candlelight vigil turned treacherous when several disgruntled citizens turned their anger toward the park. But then, when poor young Bruce the keys that had fallen to the Golden Apple Corporation and the amusement park fleet, I put the page over, so all I find are stories of behavior
neighboring town to and a sell on organic chicken at the natural store. When they were still selling it, I suppose. I turned back to the harbor and see that the story continued on page B3. I laid the crumpled newsprint at my feet. I had hold of her back as I stared up at the ceiling. So that's what Aaron gonna find a way to tell her that I can play. How to bring up something that often casual conversation. As often as the history of that place is, that isn't what what's easy at. What I can't figure out is why Aaron brought me there in the first place. Obviously, money of what happened or why. I saw sleepy thoughts of Aaron and his family swirling through my brain. Mr. Peterson, trembling hands as he puffed away on Mr. Grapevine. He looked and his dad, his dad talked about removing the Maya's face was all its color just before her dad picked her up and tickled her. That night, I dreamed a small, fragile skeleton crashed low through the ashy ground, bounding around a darkened Ferris wheel that seemed slowly choked to death by vines. Chapter 5. I don't exactly need another admirer that right until it's clear the llama farm and the not quite a grocery store, not to mention the whole building after the fact living in the woods is down at this bonkers. It's electric, that says there's cast of home dogs and a baby thing. There is not a mall within 30 miles, I can claim. The square has at least 5 stores that sell clothes. It's gonna be all organic on it, buying canvas stuff. There's a display in the National Groceries with straw, batteries, and scratching and sandals. You don't know which store to be like until you get that goes about this square. But even doesn't sound again. I'm going to look like freaking Dave Crockett on the first day of school. Why don't you just try a piece of skin around my waist for a belt? It's bad enough, Mom. Lost my cutting packs of homemade granola. I'm not bringing that in my life. Dad, seriously, it's not happening. Oh no, Dad says the people wandered into the party space this square and me before I can escape the hook. Where's all this coming from, Nard? I think about holding but I see Dad's finger on the power lock. I barely met anyone yet, I said. What if? This is always the hard part, finding a way to tell my dad that I understand why we have to start over again. That I know it's not his fault, that his job is hard to do. It's just that every time we move, it gets harder to be in business. Remember when we moved to Reading? I asked Dad, nods, listening attention. Remember how I wore the Reading Rock shirt on the first day? The one with the granite. Dad smiles. A good fun is never wasted on him. But at school, a kid asked me if I stopped for my clothes at the airport. I never told Dad about that. It's nothing. It's what I say to him now. But I draw the line at fun. No clever shirt. All right, Cherry, you're up.
All right, let's finish this. Dad cocks his head to the side, but I get out of the car before he can prolong this conversation. The square really is the square. There's a giant copper fountain in the middle of it. 3 enormous dancing apples with long, sprawling arms and legs are supposed to look like they're playing. But the way their faces are curved makes them look almost vicious. It's super unsettling, but no one else seems to be as bothered as I am. Little kids fling pennies into the water and balance along the low brick wall that surrounds the sculpture. Along the pyramid of the square, trucks line up side by side facing the fountain. Restaurants ranging from casual to fancy make up the corners of each side, and the shop seems to be separated by feet. Aside for really little kids and kids my age, then adults. In the sort of catch-all knick-knack store my mom would say are full of more stuff I'll have to dust on a shelf. Ooh, they have a Wellington Samuel. Dad's eyes sparkle against the reflection of the fountain as he gazes upon the expensive desk ornaments and massage chairs, and rushes inside to join every other dad in Ravenbrook. After 20 minutes, he nearly convinces himself that he needs a stress-reducing foam figure called the gnome when a guy I don't know comes up behind him. Before I got you stressed out enough for the gnome, he asked. Dad turns and laughs, clapping the guy on the shoulder. And if you did, it's not like you're paying me enough to afford anything in this place. Now they're both laughing, and I see an equal uncomfortable kid lingering behind the guy who apparently knows how much money my dad isn't making at the Ravenbrook banner. He and my dad seem to suddenly remember us. And hey, this must be Enzo, my dad says, extending his hand to the kid, who takes it politely. Nice to meet you, the kid says. Then Dad pulls me forward and presents me. This is Nikki. Dad, I cringe. Sorry, Nikki. This is Nick. Gosh, this is Miguel Espriel, a college roommate I told you and Mom about, the one who told me about the job. We were lucky your dad was available, says Miguel. I can tell he's a nice guy, but because he finds an easy way around my dad's unemployment. Hey, Garth, I think you and Enzo are the same age. 8th grade, right? Yes, Enzo, who nods. Maybe you two will share some classes, Mr. Espo says, and Enzo and I look at each other and shrug. Parents always say stuff like that. Then look at kids like we'll have the answer. If you like the gnome, you should check out the gremlin, Mr. Espresso says to Dad. Toys are nice, but it's a pet too. They run off to play with their old people novelties and leave Enzo and me with exactly two things in common. I don't get it, says Enzo. This is the same kind of garbage they sell in airport catalogs, but Dad says those are a waste of money. I chuckle like I have ever been on an airplane before. Anywhere we've gone has been a few days drive away, and Dad and Mom never meet a hotel they didn't think was charming. They're road trippers, through and through. We're supposed to keep buying me clothes, I say, and Enzo's nice like his dad because he doesn't ever flick his eyes down to see how worn my shirt is. Come on, he says, walking ahead of me. My friend's brother works at here, across the street. He's always pouring us stuff for really cheap. Here doesn't look like the kind of place I should be shopping. But after Enzo has an exchange with the guy behind the counter who lifts his chin at me Enzo tells me to grab a few shirts and pants of sorts. Are you sure? I asked, my embarrassment finding it out with my ego because these clothes look normal and they smell new, and at least I won't be wearing a blinking neon sign saying I'm new on the first day of school. Yeah, says Enzo. Like, it's no big deal. This is pretty much the only place to shop around here. I mean, unless you want to rock a straw hat. Right, from the grocery store. Dude, I tried on those shorts once. It felt like I was wearing pants made of mosquitoes. I was scratching my butt for weeks. People thought I had diaper rash. She laughed. And holy aliens, this guy must be untouchable if he can survive a diaper rash from them. It's weird too, because aside from the normal clothes and gleaming white shoes, Enzo's just as much of a weirdo as me. It's nothing obvious, just something a fellow weirdo knows. He smiles, is totally unrestrained. He walks a little too fast. We leave the clothes at the counter for my dad to buy later and head across the square through the gamer's grotto. I try to ignore the dancing apples in front of the fountain, but they're impossible to avoid. Creepy, right? Enzo says. I thought it was just me. I don't know why they don't just take it down after what happened, he says, shaking his head. I didn't make the connection until now. The dancing apples are homage to the factory that built the concept, left the hole and raised them wide enough to fall through. It seems like no matter how much I try to skirt the issue that no one wants to talk about, it's impossible not to topple down at full. The tragedy of the golden apple amusement has colored the entire town. Now that I'm closer, I can see a small plaque has been added to the sculpture, a memorial protecting behind glass. It's Lucy Yee. Close against the student school picture drop back. Her straight black hair smoothed behind a thin headband. Her hand is propped up under her chin, a golden bracelet with a gleaming apple. Charm dangling from the link in a painful show of iron. Below her picture reads, in loving memory, Lucy E., 1985 to 1992. The sound of girls laughing wafts over my head, and for just a second I swear it's coming from behind the glass of Lucy E.'s memorial. The one of them says, I dare you to go say hi. And I look across this square and see a group of young girls crowded around a table at the frozen yogurt shop. The shortest one emerges, flipping one of her friends away, then brushes the hair from her face to wave to me. I recognize my and wave back before turning again to the fountain. Did you know her? I asked Enzo. The little girl who. Enzo looks down and nods. Everyone did. Then he looks up with a crooked smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. Then in the direction of Mai and her friends. Welcome to Ravenbrook, where everyone knows everyone. Then he claps me on the shoulder like his dad did to my dad and pulls me closer, whether you want to know him or not. He chuckles, but I don't think he was kidding. But enough about that, he says. Now we game. He'll get zero argument from me on the fat front. I may not know all there is to know about Ravenbrook, or Golden Apple, or expensive clothes, but I speak fluent gaming. Dad and Miguel lean against the car, stand outside, reliving their college days, while Enzo and I fight for territory in mortal realm until my eyes blur. I've nearly forgotten that. The shiny new kid when I see Aaron from the corner of my eye entering the garage. He stalks in quietly, but I feel like the whole place comes to a standstill as soon as he steps through the door. I lift my chin at him and give him a little half wave, but I don't think he sees me because he just walks behind a display of remote control cars locked in a glass case. You know him? Enzo asked me. I can't tell if he's impressed or just like, yeah, he lives across the street from me. I say, watching Enzo carefully before adding, cool. Enzo doesn't say anything, just steps the remote down on the counter and edges around me to look for his dad. You guys hang out? Enzo asks, not looking at me. Yeah, I say, knowing that's not the right answer, and I can feel the slime change from normality slipping away from me. The thing is, up till now, Aaron's been the only one who actually wanted to hang out with me. And I'm not about to sell him out just because Enzo is, well, whatever Enzo is. I still can't read on what's bothering him about Aaron. Just watch your back around him, Enzo says, and all the confidence he exuded earlier seems to melt away. That's what's bothering him. He's afraid of Aaron. What, does he kill cats or something? I heard once that's how you know someone's going to be a serial killer. I don't know, Enzo says, and I swear to the aliens, he's actually not sure. He has like 3 cats around his house all the whole time. I say, and I can't believe I have to convince Enzo that my new friend isn't a serial killer. He's really nice, I say, although nice isn't quite how I describe Aaron now that I think about it. Still, he's no Jack the Ripper. But it's clear to me that there's no convincing Enzo. He's already picking up his shopping bag and abandoning the game he was going to buy. I pull him out the door and toward our dad, who have actual tears in their eyes from laughing so hard. Oh man, why has it taken us this long to get back in touch? My dad says to Mr. Espresso, absolutely raffling my hair. I don't know, but I'm glad you're here, Mr. Espresso says, and Enzo and I fluff off our shoes on the ground until the dads finally give each other a half handshake, half hug, and say they'll see each other Monday. Find some clothes? Dad asks, and I nod. Backing toward gear and away from gamers bottle, but I Aaron at all anymore. Enzo seems nice, Dad says. And he's right, Enzo does seem nice, but I'm not thinking about how nice Enzo is right now. I'm thinking about how afraid he seemed of Aaron. How surprised he was that I wasn't afraid. I tended to be in a good mood on the way home, but I do it for Dad. I haven't seen him like this for a long time. When I get to my room, though, I don't even want to pull the tags off my new clothes or work on my audio manipulator. Basically, my tool isn't touching yet to the untrained eye. It's a simple microphone, but when the unexpected speaker talks to the microphone, bam! Smart voices. It's part of my bodily function line of invention. I was hoping the trip to the square would help me take my mind off my bizarre night with Aaron, but between the fountain shrine to Lucy and the way Enzo reacted to seeing Aaron, it's like the universe is begging me to reveal it. I keep thinking back to the look on Enzo's face when he saw Aaron. How he drew away from me when I told him we were friends. Sure, Aaron's family is a little weird, and his dad almost made me have an accident on their kitchen floor. It wasn't Mr. Pearson who walked into the grotto today. It wasn't Mr. Pearson I had to convince Arenzo wasn't a serial killer, it was Aaron. If Enzo was afraid, it's hard for me not to wonder if I should be afraid too. Chapter 6. Aaron and I are doing rencontre, which is a cool way of saying we're doing research. It might make my scientist mother and journalist rather proud if it were rencontre for science or journalism. But Aaron and I are doing research for my fart machine. Okay, walk me through it one more time, Aaron says. It's an audio intention voice modulator program to distort the vocal representation based on tonal input. Alright, Snooky, why don't you finish it off?
Alright, these 3 chapters seem to be a very long one, so here's the last stretch of it. It's by far my most sophisticated machine to date. Something I haven't had a lot of time to play with ever since Aaron and I had started spending every waking minute picking locks at the factory. To be honest, it feels good to be sharing something with Aaron that I know how to do better than him. Aaron pressed the top of his head like it hurt. So how does it work? I just told you. I say, trying not to be frustrated. You just said a bunch of words and strung them together in a sentence. That doesn't mean you explained anything. How do you know so much about locks if you can't follow the mechanics of an audio manipulator? How do you keep talking so much without making any sense? Boys, if you don't mind, I would prefer to maintain a peaceful tone in my store. My patrons have come to expect a highest state of consciousness when they visit. Aaron tries to stifle a laugh, but escapes in a snort. I elbow his rib and shove him behind a display of healing crystals. Sorry, Mrs. Kellman. The National Grocer is the first place our residence has taken us. We're in need of supplies and we have reason to believe we'll find the best ones here. Mrs. Feldman smiles and cries, a tight smile on current with the stiffness of someone who commands herself to relax. I am in a state of consciousness, Aaron hisses. Dude, quiet down. The only high in anything in here are her whack-doodle prices. She used to buy goat cheese from the llama guy and let Girl Scouts sell cookies under her eye. Goat cheese, I asked? Yeah, I guess. She's got goats too. Anyway, that's not the point. Aaron says, she used to be nice, then she goes to the silent retreat, doesn't talk for 2 weeks, and then she comes back to selling old goodies, expensive goggles, vitamins, and $5 candy bar. He puts air quotes around candy. And I have to laugh because this is the first time I've ever seen Aaron get vocally worked up about something. And apparently he's got it out for phony New Age capitalism. I picked up a bar from a large and capped display. The bar is way heavier than it should be, and indeed it's marked $4.95. The word survive embroidered across the package. Are the fart bars? Aaron snorts again. Yeah, seriously, you've never smelled anything like it. Picture a toxic waste dump filled with dirty diapers and a sterile pit. We each grabbed 3 bars before making our way to the pantry. It's 6 weeks worth of allowance, but it's money well spent. All in the name of research. $32.95, Mrs. Ellison says. This time not even bothering with her tight smile. Thanks, Mrs. Ellison, Erin says, matching her frown with an extra wide smile. The drugstore by the square sells candy bars that might be more within your budget, she says before handing us a paper bag. And this time she does smile. On the way back to Aaron's house, I turned to her. So will we be testing out the audio synthesizer at the natural grocer? Absolutely, Aaron says. Good, I say. Good, he says. That night, after 2 Survivor bars, Mom's famous cabbage rolls, I'm passing enough gas to rocket me to Mars. If only my audio synthesizer were complete, I'd be able to test it. But like a dummy, I left my power drill at Aaron's house, and besides, he's the only one with a recorder. Just then, like it can hear my thoughts, the high wire of a drill floats across the street from the direction of Aaron's house. Oh man, I grumbled, stumbling toward the window. You're gonna burn out the battery. I haven't unpacked my charger yet and test I sort of ignore Mom's warning to label all my boxes. It's anybody's guess where or when it'll turn up. I cup my hands against the window and peer across the street to Aaron's room, but his bedroom light is off. If he's messing with my drill, he's doing it somewhere else in the house. Since I'm way too bloated to go to sleep anytime soon, I slide my window open and pop the screen from its frame. The turquoise house came with an unexpected bonus right outside my room. A trellis sturdy enough to act as a ladder. I'm not exactly the kind of kid who sneaks out of the house when his parents are sleeping, but it's just across the street. It's to retrieve my drill. Besides, it's easier than waking up my parents up and explaining why I need this drill anyway. I hear the roll of the drill again, but it stops by the time I'm across the street. The street light in front of my house flickers, and for a second, I'm standing on Aaron's pond in the dark. It's the first time I've been here this late at night, and it occurs to me that I haven't been invited. The light in Aaron's room is still off, and suddenly it feels like I've gone from hanging out to trespassing. The drill revs up again, and I see the faintest light peeking out from the crack of the basement door. Then the street light flickers back on, and I find myself standing closer to the boarded up basement door than I realized I was. I peer closer at the mirror of rocks, only what I see now that I'm closer is more unsettling than any rock. There are handprints all over the door, smears of black grease that creep around the edge of the door, half covered by the boards and bolts, some with tiny scratches at the tips of the fingerprints, like claw marks made by dragging fingernails. Suddenly the drill's motor cuts off, and the whirl sputters, the telltale sign of a dying battery. Then a heavy footfall lands on the steps, landing up front the basement, methodically making their way up the stairs, straight for the door. I bolt as fast as I can across the street. the streetlight clicking off just as I reach my house. And all at once, I can't see the trellis against the wall. I hear the rattle of locks behind me, thumping against the heavy basement door as they're slowly unlocked. Groping through the vines in my front yard, I finally find a wooden slant and grab hold of it. Wedge my foot in the one beside it before pulling myself up into the window. I reach for the ledge of my window sill, just as the streetlight clicks on again. Just as I hear the basement door swing open behind me, I don't turn around. I fall through the open window into cover on the floor, my heart pounding against the floorboards as I listen for movement across the street. Heavy footfall thuds against the grass, muffled in the humid, still night. The air is so dense, it feels like whoever is across the street is stealing my breath. The footsteps leave the grass and to the sidewalk, closer. The soles cracking over the tiny pebbles on the asphalt floor. I squeeze my eyes shut and wait for whoever is outside my window to say something, climb on the trellis and climb into my room, to laugh, to do anything at all. Instead, the person with the heavy steps perfectly still in the middle of the road waits. I don't know how much time passed, maybe a minute, maybe an hour. All I know is that just when I think I'm going to die of suffocation from all that thick air, the steps descend to the sidewalk, then to the lawn, then to the basement door, where the hinges crack to a close and the lock secure. Whatever secret is worth locked up in Aaron's basement. I peer over the windowsill, and when I'm sure no one is still lying in wait in the middle of the street, I reassure myself. I resecure my screen and closet and close my window. I lock the hatch, but I wish I had a few more locks than that. It wasn't Aaron, I'm positive of that. Whoever wanted me to know they knew I was there. They had a much heavier step, a heavier frame. Bare bones, I whisper, and a chill rattles my whole body. Because whatever Mr. Pearson is doing in his basement, he wants to be sure I know it's none of my business. There's no doubt in my mind. Tonight was a warning from my new friend's dad, and Mr. Pearson doesn't strike me as the type to warn someone twice. And we will finally end it here. Until next time, we have been Hydragames69.